I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Love it. Valor put that together. That was fantastic.
Yes. Oh my God.
That is so great, Valor. Guys, if you don't remember Poached Egg Lady, God rest her soul. I'm sure
probably
I should be looking down. God rest her soul. She was a piece of work. She used to call us all the time when we were on the radio, WIBC in Indianapolis for almost 8 years. And she wanted to fight me. Monument Circle, you remember? She wanted to punch me in the face. And I would have done it. I would have done it for charity, but never happened. Really, that's one of my only regrets in life is that I never got to fight Poached Egg Lady.
Oh,
anyways,
she was something.
She really was something. Okay,
Jerks
you guys come
on the right.
Jerks on the right. You guys coming up on the show today, on the Jerks on the Right show today. JD Vance is the most accessible and open VP candidate of all time and space. Fight us on that. Just when you thought Walz's stolen Valor story couldn't get any worse, it does. It gets worse. James Carville has lost his damn mind, and I'm here for it. Kamala is the biggest copycat in Copycat Town. And the people voting for Harris Walz are exactly as you thought they would look. All of that and so much more on today's show. You guys can check out all the Chick on the Right things at chicksontheright.com/links. Do it. Do it. You okay? You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do it, but you don't seem okay. You just you seem a little like you're not okay.
Oh, no, I'm just waiting.
Okay. Also, make sure that you help kids explore online stuff with boundaries because it's a jungle out there and they in danger, girl. Visit our sponsor, aura.com/chicks to get a 14-day free trial on a family plan, which includes identity fraud and child protection. You guys want to make sure you protect your kids online. Aura.com/chicks. Chicks. It's going to be a long show.
I'm stealing myself some Valor today with my name. Because why not? Like, why can't I be a command master sergeant?
Yeah. I mean, Mock was in combat in Iraq. Did you guys know that?
And Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And some other places. But
right.
I can say that because
you can. You can just say that nowadays. You just say it.
That's
just
right.
Say it.
Yes, somebody asked if it's going to be a long show. Oh man, is it ever? Because we've missed the last 2 days of last week.
That's right.
Lots to catch up on. So yes, it's a mighty long show. Settle in, buckle in. See, Deanna saw me in Iraq. She knows. She was there.
She was there. She was right there. Uh-huh. Muck had her pajama pants on. She was out there with their AR. Just fighting bad guys.
That's right. That's what I did. Right. Prove me wrong. Quickly, just a note, because tonight is an important night for people who are fans of Elon Musk and Donald Trump, because they're going to be together. There's going to be an Elon Musk, Donald Trump interview. I'm not even sure at this point who's interviewing whom.
I was going to ask that. Like, how's that going to work?
I'm assuming Elon is doing the interview.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it will be on X. And so that's happening at 8:00 Eastern tonight. And that should be a very interesting conversation indeed. So be sure to check that out. Also, we have a couple of one particularly very generous Rumble rant is what they call them from last Wednesday, which came in after we were already off the air, but from Humber 1969, very, very generous indeed, said, my son is retiring after 26 years in the Air Force, and I am a veteran and agree with Joey Jones. P.S. Proud American and Texan.
Thank you, Humber 1969.
Very much for that. And then from Jody Zimmerly, she said, we are just Minnesota. Were they that worried about us flipping red? He taught in my hometown and is a frigging joke, referring to Walz. But what do I know? I'm just a rock and a cow folk. And then just get ready for election night shenanigans, because Pennsylvania, the entire state, is already warning us to be ready. The Pennsylvania Department of State posted on Twitter, Pennsylvanians won't always know the final results of all races on election night. Any changes in results that occur as counties continue to count ballots are not evidence that an election is rigged. See the full explanation at vote.pa.gov.fact check. This is so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Why wouldn't they know? Everybody else can get it done. What the hell is wrong with you, Pennsylvania? Get your shit together.
Entire countries who count paper ballots, their votes in one day.
This is just they're saying, well, we're going to see who wins and how we can figure out how to make whatever we want to happen. That's basically what they're saying. Everybody knows it. Good
it's just,
Lord.
oh my gosh, it makes me so mad. God. And then if that didn't already make you mad enough, look at how ridiculous the Washington Post is. So they tweeted, throughout her life, Kamala Harris has had her share of firsts. Now her next first could be the presidency. And they paid to boost that as an ad. They're buying ads on Twitter to spread pro-Harris propaganda.
Yeah, because we're the CCP now.
Oh my God.
It's like, we're basically China, you guys.
That is ridiculous. Is that not the most ridiculous thing?
Yeah, but not at all surprising. Is anybody surprised? Raise their hand. It's gross.
I don't see any hands.
Our media, I don't see any hands either. Our media is so gross.
Oh my God. Just vile. And they just are shameless about it. Absolutely shameless.
Yeah.
You guys, if you are a person who is nearing or even in retirement and you are worried about the volatility of the stock market right now, I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but you should be worried.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a Harris-Walz presidency, because things are sketch. And if you don't have a financial advisor who is working through and reacting to current events as they happen, you're doing financial advising wrong. And you should have a second opinion no matter what. Even if you're happy with your current advisor, why not have a second opinion? Why not do a free consultation with our friend and sponsor of the show, Zach Abraham from Bulwark Capital Management? He's got a common sense investing guide that you can get for free when you go to knowyourriskradio.com. You can get that for free, but you can also talk to him and he can look at your the way that your money is currently set up for retirement and tell you what he might change, what he would suggest different, if anything. And then there's no obligation. If you are happy where you are, that's fine. But at least you have the benefit of knowing that you've had another second opinion, somebody who's a real expert and who's also a shameless conservative, telling you what he thinks about how you're set up. There's no harm in that, and there's no obligation. So check him out at knowyourriskradio.com.
Advisory services offered through Track Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Track 24-244.
That's right.
Yep. What he said.
We've already got thank yous. Shelly Bolton, thank you. She says, good morning. I missed y'all end of last week. My mom and Snickers both say hello. Sure hope it'll be a long show. Yeah, it's going to be a long show.
It's going to be a long show.
Brian Brumley says, I know Mock fought in Germany. I saw her at the Rathskeller. See?
Yeah.
That's true. It's true.
With some beer.
And Kira, hi Kira. Kira says it'll be on Trump's page on X. Also, I love you.
We love you.
And then over on Locals, Karen Eva says, my 35-year-old niece who was raised by extremely crazy libs, her mom is my twin, has now swallowed a red pill and her eyes are open. Love
oh my gosh. Isn't that a good day when that happens?
That's the best, man. That is the best.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the long show, shall we? Because it's going to be long. We've got a lot of days to make up for, right? We've got the weekend, we've got Thursday, Friday, and there was this moment, you've probably all seen it by now, but we just wanted to share it just in case. And that is that JD Vance landed at the same tarmac as Kamala Harris did. And he decided, I'm going to go try to have a little chat with her, see if I can catch up with her. Of course, she got into, the motorcade and bolted as quickly as she could. But there were lots of reporters there waiting to talk to her because She's not done any interviews. She's barely taken any questions from reporters. And JD Vance said, I'll be available. He is the most available VP candidate of all time and space. Here's what he said to the reporters.
Figured I'd come by and one, just get a good look at the plane. Hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months. But I also thought you guys might get lonely because the vice president doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So have a good one, guys. See ya. What would you like to hear from her? I'd love her to answer your questions. I'd love her to just answer what she wants to do and also explain why every single position she has changed. She pretends to be a prosecutor, yet she pretends to be a tough-on-crime prosecutor, and yet here she is wanting to defund the police. She's the borders yard, yet she's opened up the American southern border. This is a person who has to answer the questions from the media, and it's disgraceful that she runs for you guys. It's also insulting to the American people. But anyway, we're going to go do our event. I appreciate you guys being here. I wish she paid you some more attention. See ya.
It's totally awesome. I see that JD has one of the DEI Secret Service people next to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You see that woman? Yeah.
Yep.
I bet he feels really safe. Yeah. And it was that whole thing that he just did was being spun by the left. Cause I was on Twitter reading some of the other, the other side's reaction to that. And they were like, he's stalking her.
Right. And so this was the tweet that he put out, to go along with that video that was getting shared everywhere. And he said, I thought that they might just be a little lonely considering she never answers questions, and then leave it to freaking David Hogg, who can't even spell the word stalker.
Harvard education, you guys. There it is right there. That's what your money gets you.
Oh my God. So this was their spin. I mean, they cannot defend how hidden she is keeping herself. And so now, just because JD Vance is out there actually talking to reporters, they're calling him a stalker and acting like he's following her around. What a bunch of bull crap that is.
Would they have said that if it was a man running?
No.
Yeah. This is the thing. So pick a lane, people.
So, and it's not just David Hogg. It's the panel on Joy Reid's show too. It's so absurd, but this is what they're going with, you guys. This is their story.
I'm sorry, I cannot believe he spelled stalker.
And she needs it. She's got the Secret Service, but now she's also got this stalker going around from city to city like a hangdog ex-husband trying to find her. So I trust the Secret Service, but I'm glad that she's got Tim Walz there too. He's on it.
Yeah, it is so weird, Lindsay. It is so weird that Trump is playing golf somewhere while JD Vance is stalking the vice president and saying weird stuff to reporters.
You've now asked.
What weird stuff did he say? He was talking about her and how basically she's been hidden and not answering questions. What's weird about that?
Nothing. There was not a single weird word that came out of his mouth during the whole weekend when he did a zillion interviews. Because he's out there. He has no fear. And that's why just watching, all the Sunday talk shows that he did, all of the interviews that he does, all the impromptu conversations he has with reporters. I cannot wait for that debate if it happens, because he's fearless. He's calm. He's coherent. He's so smart. And he's so much better than Tim Walz, who is a liar, who is a flat, stone cold liar.
I can't believe they used the stalking ex-husband analogy. It's just, it's just so stupid.
It is. It's ridiculous. And Dana, he did an interview with Dana Bash. We've got several clips from it kind of scattered all throughout today's show. But this first one, she again is pressing him on this ridiculous cat lady comment that he made in 2021 that everyone is taking out of context. And it's just ridiculous. And he was finally like, seriously, are we going to keep doing this?
Asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that open the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's middle facility for the office. You are interviewing me, Dana, because I respect the American people enough to sit down for an interview.
I appreciate that.
Kamala Harris has been the nominee for 3 weeks. She hasn't sat down for a real interview.
Believe me, we are asking. You're not going to disagree with
Okay,
the point is, Dana, you've got me for 15 minutes or however long you have me. We should be talking about public policies that matter. How are we going to lower inflation? How are we going to reduce the cost of food and housing? How are we going to close down that southern border? We've talked so little about that. We've talked a lot more about a sarcastic remark I made 3 years ago. I think we should talk about the issues that most Americans care about.
That was a masterclass in handling these jackholes. Seriously. That was just a masterclass. He knew how to do it, and he owned that interview. The whole thing. He did.
All
she was
the
just like,
he did. Yeah. They were phenomenal.
They really were. He just knows how to do it. And bravo to him. And they hate it. They hate that he does. And so they try to paint him as weird when he's not at all.
I mean, because later in the show, we're going to have quite a montage of the people that were at one of the recent Kamala Harris rallies. There's a guy just interviewing people, asking them, why are you supporting her? These people, you want weird? It is her entire following. It's her base. Those people are freaks of nature.
Yeah.
And so we'll have that later in the show. But first, we need to remind you about how luxurious and glorious the sheets and the clothing is from CozyEarth.com/Cozy Chicks. So if you are looking to treat yourself or someone, maybe you're looking for like a high-end luxury kind of gift for someone that's super special to you, consider Cozy Earth sheets, which are made from viscose from bamboo. It's like this softness that you cannot describe until you get your grubby little paws on it. And so first of all, imagine sleeping on that kind of, enveloped in that kind of softness, which is also temperature regulating. But then if you can't get enough of that, wear it. Get yourself some loungewear from Cozy Earth. It's made of the same amazing fabric that just makes you feel good no matter if it's hot or cold. And the best part is it gets softer and softer and softer with every single wash. And they are so sure that you're going to love them that they have a 100-night sleep trial on their sheets. So check them out. CozyEarth.com/Cozy Chicks. You can get 40% off right now. 40% off using code Cozy Chicks, CozyChicks, CozyEarth.com/Cozy Chicks, and then use code Cozy Chicks to get that 40% off. Your life is going to change. That's how good they are. They are freaking amazing. Thank you very much, Kira. Kira says Harvard for the hard words.
Yeah, exactly.
She also says Walz told police ICE he was a deaf. What? I don't know what that means.
Walz told police that he was deaf. Did he tell him that he was deaf?
Sorry, Kira, we don't know what that means.
I didn't see that. If that was the case, I did not. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to lie because he's a big fat liar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. If that's the story that he told, I can't remember who she means ICE is, but I think it was when he just got pulled over that he tried to use being deaf as an excuse, which is another just lie that he's a liar. He's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. When he was arrested, he said he was deaf.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's just vile. He's absolutely disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what's also disgusting. So Trump decided to hold a press conference, and it was like 90 minutes long where he's just, he's not on a script. He's literally just there to take questions and also to call out Kamala for being a total chicken shit, really, because she won't answer any questions. And so I couldn't believe this was a question, but someone in the press asked him to defend himself for not being out on the campaign trail enough. Trump, they said this to.
Yeah, that's insanity.
And I'm like, what is even happening? What kind of weird ass projection is this?
Yeah.
But this is what they did. And you could tell that question rattled him and got under his skin, and rightly so.
Okay. Mr. President, you have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there is enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot, and because I'm letting their convention go through. and I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country. She hasn't done.
I freaking love that.
He had every right to just be pissed at that question. What a stupid question that was. You haven't talked to people in a week. Oh my God.
Well, you haven't done, he has talked to people, but he hasn't done like a public campaign event.
Exactly.
Whatever that means to them.
Oh my God.
It's unreal.
I'm sorry. Have I not done anything scripted that's good enough for you? I can't. These people they're the masters of projection and gaslighting. It's just constant with them.
Yeah, I just couldn't even believe that was a question. It was so absurd.
It is absurd.
And he also talked about, the fact that Kamala hasn't agreed to debates so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the second part of him just saying how inept she is and how afraid she is. And then you'll immediately hear Scott Jennings address another comment from a panel on CNN where they were trying to say, it seems like Trump maybe lacks some confidence right now. I mean, the projection, like you said, is just off the chart.
In an interview, she can't do an interview. She's barely competent, and she can't do an interview. But I look forward to the debates because I think we have to set the record straight.
It's pretty competent to stand up and do a press conference. Kamala Harris is not willing to do that right now. Is not sitting down to have her record challenged by any journalist. And I think that does show something of a lack of confidence. And if they achieved anything good today, it was to make the point. Trump is who he is, and he will stand and answer questions about his views, and she will not. I think this is part of a plan to try to draw her out, which they have to do.
Madam.
Yeah, he's absolutely right about that. Confidence? You don't think Trump has confidence? What planet are we on?
The fight guy is scared?
Yeah.
Please.
Speaking of which, I just to put that out there again, like it's kind of like the Nashville shooter, the transgender shooter. We don't know anything about the Nashville transgender shooter. I still am waiting for answers about the guy who shot the president, who tried to assassinate the president. You guys, am I the only one that's just
nobody's talking about that anymore?
No. I mean, it literally got like 2 days worth of coverage. And then it was like, let's go ahead and bury that. Why? Why haven't we heard anything more about that?
I know. It's
as if it didn't happen. Okay.
Karen Eva says he should have asked the reporter if she had been shot at recently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Low Dog on YouTube says first time tuning into the show and just subscribed. Welcome, Low Dog.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for being here. You should buckle in because it's going to be a long show. This is what we say when there's heavy news cycles. It's going to be a very long show today. Okay, so speaking of debates, Kamala did get asked by a reporter because Trump has now proposed 3 debates, which I think is great. And he's agreed to the September 10th one on whatever network that's happening on. But here is how she skirted the question about whether she will participate in 3 debates.
President Donald Trump agreed to 3 debates. Will you be participating in all 3?
I've always been on record. I am looking forward to debating Donald Trump, and we have a date of September 10th. I hear he is finally committed to it. I'm looking forward.
What about the other 2?
Let's make sure we get this photo of everyone.
Yeah, what about the other 2?
Yeah,
talk a big talk. She was like, big woman, like, ooh, I'm going to debate you. You're chicken. Yeah. What about the other 2, Kamala? What about it? It's unreal.
I know. She's absolutely the worst. And what's amazing too is that now all of a sudden she has decided to release some policy ideas, or at least say that she plans to release some policy ideas. I think that's expected this week. Here she is addressing that.
Are you starting to roll out your policy platform? Next week. And it'll be focused on the economy and what we need to do to bring down costs and also strengthen the economy overall.
Right. She's going to do that on day 1, which was actually 3.5, almost 4 years ago, which they could have done. But she decided to just like hold off and do that, in the future rather than when she actually had day 1. People fall for this crap.
They do.
It's
and this
remarkable.
is why Tim Pool's answer to Ed Krasenstein was so perfect, because Ed was like, she's releasing her policy platform next week. And Tim was like, so what exactly are you all currently supporting?
Yeah. What the hell? There are so many dumb people out there. There's some here in our comments, some liberals out here in our comments. How do you feel about that? They're lying to you. It's like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to implement on day one. Day one was 4 years ago, you morons. They're lying to you. Oh my God. And you fall
about
for
so
it.
many things. Oh my gosh.
You fall for this crap. It's unreal.
Yeah. I mean, she's been in office now for 3.5 years. And now she's saying this week she's going to release her policy platform on what to do to bring down costs.
You know what's worse? What's worse is that Joe Biden has been in office for almost half a century. He could have done it even longer time ago, and he chose not to. So they have just been lying and lying and lying to you, and you fall for it because you're dumb. You're dumb.
So dumb. Oh my God. Especially considering that costs are up 20% under that administration. Ben Shapiro also pointed out it's currently day 1,297 of Harris being VP. I know she hasn't done a thing to bring down prices.
Nope.
And she was the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is absolutely true. It is her fault. She is to blame for how things are right now. And the fact that people think she's now going to fix what she helped cause, like, how dumb are you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of really dumb people in our country because they're like, but lady parts and melanin.
Right.
Can't you see? That's why. That's what it is. That's all that matters to these people. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And Guy Benson pointed out that her platform has largely already been announced by her. She wants to eliminate private health insurance. She wants the Green New Deal. She wants to ban fracking, decriminalize illegal immigration. She wants taxpayer-funded health care for illegals. She wants to take your guns. She wants to take funds away from the police. All of those things are on record. And all of those things she is trying to backpedal and run away from as fast as she can. And yet the sheep will continue to follow.
She's backpedaling just to get elected. And then once she gets elected, all that stuff is back on the table again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, she's uber liberal. Just like her freak VP candidate. It's the most liberal ticket in history. So all that stuff is right back at you once she gets elected, because she's a freaking dirty liar. Mm-hmm. They're liars.
Gosh, they are the worst of the worst. Mm-hmm. And the fact that people just lap it up without question is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how many.
Yeah, because they forget. It's like the memes that you see where literally the world, they're on a train, the world is on fire, and they're like, I'm voting for coming with her. I'm with her. I just love her. She's so great. Everything's on fire. And they don't care. It's like we don't live in the same world.
Yeah. It really is. Like, you've probably saw pictures over the weekend of Biden sleeping on a beach when the world is literally exploding. I mean, he's absolutely unfit to continue to serve, but I don't know what's worse, having somebody unfit continue to serve for the next few months, or for her to be installed as president now. Yeah. Like, the choices are so bad. No matter how you slice it, that
interview with him, and I know we probably have clips from that interview with him from this weekend.
Oh yeah.
It was just shaking my head at the whole thing. What a disgrace that guy is.
God.
Oh my God.
The worst.
Mm-hmm.
If you are an owner of dogs.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh, nice. Why would you deprive your dogs of the deliciousness that they can get from Ruff Greens, which is chock full of all the vitamins, minerals, omega oils, probiotics, antioxidants, digestive enzymes that your dog needs to live its longest, most healthiest life? This is all thanks due to naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black. It is his creation, and it is amazing. It's green powder that you sprinkle on their dry, dead, brown kibble, and it brings that kibble to life and gives them everything that they need that they're not getting from their dry kibble. And the best part is they freaking love it. It's like a little dressing for their food for their dinner time, and they start to expect it, and then you're in trouble because you got to just keep getting it. At that point, they won't eat without it.
They wait for it.
They also have dog treats. Their Ruff Chews are amazing, and you can try this for free. You can try the green powder for absolutely free. You can get a Jumpstart trial bag at ruffchicks.com. That's RUFF chicks.com, or as I like to say, ruffchicks.com. Get your free Jumpstart trial bag. Check it out. Have your dog check it out and report back, because I think your dog is going to love it. Let's see. We have Kira says, that's it. I'm going to pet an alligator. I can't take it. Don't do it, Kira. Do not do it.
Stay away.
And Peggy sends Sale. Thank you very much. Very, very generous.
Thank you, Peggy.
Justina Wooten says, have you seen the Jake Ryan post showing how Kamala is using AI to make it look like there are a lot of people at her rallies? Actually, we're going to get to that later in the show, because everybody needs to stop with that. Her rallies are being very well attended. None of this AI nonsense. We need to just stop. It makes us look ridiculous. We need to accept the fact that there is a huge amount of energy around her campaign, and it sucks, but denying it does not help anybody. So we'll get to that later, because there's a lot, because Trump is, he's feeding that narrative as well. Judy Flood says, I don't know how the press is as stupid as the Democrats, right? Oh my God. And she also says, everyone needs to view the John Rich interview with Tucker. So check that out, according to Judy. Judy says you should check it out. Also, so one of the things that Kamala is now saying at her rallies over the weekend is that inflation is her day one priority.
Oh my God.
Like, what in the hell? She's been there.
Yep.
Because while our economy is doing well by many measures,
it's not.
Prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high.
Oh my God.
You
this
know
lady.
it and I know it. When I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, it will be a day one priority to fight to bring down prices. I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging. I will take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families. I will take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans.
What you been doing for 3.5 years?
Continue to bring manufacturing jobs back to America.
Really?
And back to communities like Eau Claire.
Right. God, the people cheering. The people cheering are the worst. Oh, I'm a sheep. I'm a lobotomized sheep. These people are so freaking stupid. Why? Day one was 3.5 years ago, more than 3.5 years ago, almost 4. That was day one. If she didn't do it then, she ain't going to do it now.
And it's funny how, like, in all of her speeches, she goes back to when I was a prosecutor, when I was attorney general. She doesn't have a record as VP. The one or two things that she was assigned, she's been an utter failure at.
Right.
And so she doesn't bring them up. She goes way back to her early career, trying desperately to have something to show for it. And people believe this.
Yeah. I mean, if she wasn't border czar, which she was, and she failed miserably at that. And if it was root causes czar, what were the root causes? What were the root causes, Kamala? What were those? Because we still don't know those, because there's actual video of her. Listen, there's video of her, like, actually, people know that she was the border czar. We have video proof of that. But there's also video of her talking about, well, I'm going to get to the bottom of the root causes. Okay, well then tell us what those were.
How did you address them?
Right, exactly.
That was your job.
She is an utter epic failure on every level. She's done jack squat as vice president. To your point, there's nothing there. So you're right. She has to go back to all this stuff. And she was an epic failure as AG too.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that she's even daring to talk about the border as if it's something that she is going to be stronger on, that's the stuff that makes me crazy. There's 2 clips that we'll just let them run together of her talking about the border, and they're infuriating.
America has tried so many of those failed policies before, and like we all know, we're not going back.
Unreal. The audacity.
We will move forward and take on the biggest issues facing our nation. For example, the issue of immigration.
Oh, my God.
So I was Attorney General of a border state. I went after the transnational gangs, the drug cartels, and human traffickers. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won.
You're a sanctuary state, you ridiculous.
You were
man.
also vice president.
We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Comprehensive reform that includes strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship.
Oh, my God. Then why didn't you do that?
Trump does not want to fix this problem. Be clear about
He
that.
did
He
fix
has
it.
no interest or desire to actually fix the problem.
How can people be this
He talks
stupid?
a big game about border security, but he does not walk the walk.
I cannot. It infuriates me. And to Arizona.
This year, everybody here knows, earlier this year we had a chance to pass the toughest bipartisan border security bill in decades.
After you effed it up.
But Donald Trump tanked the deal.
Oh, my God.
He's not in government, you idiot.
Right.
He has no power to vote on it.
You're absolutely
by
right.
doing that, it would help him win an election.
God,
my God.
When I am president, I will sign the bill.
You were the head bitch in charge. You were the HBIC, and you did nothing but destroy it. That's what you did. And God, it's like, again, to your point, she never talks about being vice president.
Never.
Isn't that crazy? Like, she just runs away from it completely. It's maddening. And all these people in the audience are like, nah, yeah. I can't.
And the media covers, right? So Politico, they don't even ask questions. Their headline simply says, Harris promises to go tough on border security. Look at her go. She's going to be so good on it. But they just, there's no critical questioning. There's no actual analysis. It's just, she says this, so it must be true. She's going to fix everything.
Even though she's had 4 years to freaking do it.
And they undid all the policies that were working. All anybody has to do is look at the numbers of illegals that came in under Trump, compare it to the numbers that are coming in now. It's not hard.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
But data is hard. There, Blondie. Data's really hard for these people. They like feelings, not data. They like the feels.
And as Guy Benson pointed out, she supports decriminalizing illegal crossings, then giving the illegals all of our money towards their health care. We have to pay for their health care. She also wants to get rid of ICE. She compared them to the KKK. And then she also lectured Americans not to even say the word illegal alien. This is all on tape. All anybody has to do is look at it. And they won't.
Yeah. It's not just health care. We're not just giving them health care. We're giving them everything. I mean, we are paying for these people's housing. We're paying for schooling. We're paying for meals. You guys have seen it. We've shown you the videos, and she's all for that. And she wants more of it. It will destroy our country. It's already destroying our country. And she just wants more of it. And if she tells you otherwise, she is a liar. They're both liars.
And there's a new ad on how tough Kamala's going to be on
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades.
Oh my God.
Oh my
as
God.
president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking.
So full of
Fixing
shit.
the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
Really?
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
It's like the first.
God.
The lies. I mean, just utter lies.
I love that Scott Jennings called her out in the way that he did, because he saw that ad and this was his response.
First, welcome Kamala Harris, the vice president, into the Republican Party.
Is that all it takes?
Well, I mean, I saw her ad today and I thought, did I miss something? Did she switch party? Is she now running as a Republican?
Right.
Because if you were a space alien and you landed on this planet and you knew nothing and you watched that ad, you'd say, boy, that Republican, she looks pretty tough on the border right now. There is no conceivable way that any person in this country is going to believe that Kamala Harris or any Democrat candidate for president, after everything they've said and done, is going to be tougher on the border than Donald Trump. I want to Venmo the DNC right now, so they'll keep running these ads and keep reminding people of what a disaster this is.
My only question is, Kamala.
Well, John, we have to.
He's right, but there is a conceivable way that people would believe that she would do this. I mean, because like we keep saying, there are so many dumbass people out there that are like, oh yeah, she's going to be great. She's going to be tough on the border, even though she won't. She just won't.
I mean, she's proven for her entire career that she's done absolutely the opposite of things that would secure a border.
Right.
She was fine with being in a sanctuary state. All of the things that we've already listed out. She doesn't care about securing the border because she wants the voters to come pouring in.
And she truly believes in her heart. And you can look, I mean, there are montages on this all over the place. She truly believes that an undocumented person is not illegal, you guys. Yeah.
They're entitled to all of our taxpayer-funded benefits.
You can, there are montages where she says that countless times, more times than I honestly can count. It's everywhere. She says that all the time. She believes it at the core of her being. She doesn't believe that these people are illegal, and therefore she wants to give them all the things. She appreciates those people more than she does American citizens. A lot of Democrats do, which is why they get all the perks and the benefits more so than veterans, more so than homeless Americans, more so than you and me. And that's not okay. It's just not, especially now because we're broke.
And JD Vance also answered questions about the border and had this to say as well about Kamala.
Start with the fact that we have a wide open southern border because our border czar actually set a lot of open border policies. They suspended.
She's not actually. She wasn't the border czar.
Oh, that was what the media called her. She assumed the title. She had control over a lot of our border policy at a time when they were suspending. Let me finish, John. The time they were suspending deportations, they stopped Donald Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, and they reinstituted catch and release. They basically threw open the gates of our country, and now we have a ton of fentanyl, a ton of people suffering.
But how are you going to get 10 to 15 to 20 million people
Well, the first thing you have to do is to stop the bleeding, stop the open border, get Kamala Harris out of there, and actually re-implement the Remain in Mexico policy, rebuild or finish Donald Trump's border wall, and you do that and you stop the bleeding. Now, you're right. Once you do that, once you stop Kamala Harris's open border policies, you've got to do something with the people who are already here. And I think that you take a sequential approach to it. You are going to have to deport some people. If you're not willing to deport a lot of people, you're not willing to have a border when there are 20 million illegal aliens in our country.
10 to 15 million people, this is like,
Well, John, I think it's the wrong attitude to take of it. Okay, so
you go knock on doors and ask people for their papers.
Again, but I think this is the wrong attitude towards it, right? There's 20 million people here illegally. You start with what's achievable. You do that, and then you go on to what's achievable from there. I think that if you deport a lot of violent criminals, and frankly, if you make it harder to hire illegal labor, which undercuts the wages of American workers, I think you go a lot of the way to solving the illegal immigration problem. But look, President Trump is absolutely right. You cannot have a border unless you're willing to deport some people. I think it's interesting that people focus on, well, how do you deport 18 million people? Let's start with 1 million. That's where Kamala Harris has failed, and then we can go from there.
Weak men like that little journalist there are the reason that our country is in the state it's in today. Guys like that, men like that who are not men, but just like soft shells of like this gooey soy substance of what he is. Seriously, he's the very first thing he did was he got offended on her behalf because JD Vance dared to call her the border czar. You can't call her that. That's mean.
She was never really made the border czar.
Oh my God. If she can't handle that, she can't handle Putin. So get bent, dude. I mean,
and it's not even just about her handling it. If she wanted to handle it, if she took objection to that title, she was sure quiet about it the last 3.5 years.
Exactly.
She never minded it when she got the assignment in the first place. Everybody, including that little weasel, that little manlet. There's video of him floating around that I saw this weekend. I should have grabbed it. Of that clip that you just saw of him going, well, she was never really border czar. Flashback to him a few years ago saying she was just assigned to be the border czar. Like, he knows it. He said it.
Of course. And now he's offended on her behalf. Just shut up and take all the seats, you loser. These people are insufferable. And I mean, on top of that, he's just so weaselly.
Yeah, like your fist forms a little.
Like,
not that we condone violence on this show.
No, we never would condone violence on this show. But he's just, it's just the apologies and the semantics and this is why it's because of non-men like him. That's why we're in the state we're in. Like, and then guys like JD Vance who come in and they just want to do the things and they're forthright in how they deal with people. They can't handle it. They can't. And then they call him a stalker
or weird.
Yeah. It's like, what? We are in an upside down world right now. It's crazy.
Jason Decker says Trump should get all the DEI votes. He is the only survivor of the lost orange man tribe. You cannot get much more of being a minority. Kira says, I have to wait to pet the gator till after I vote, so it's Republican. Shelly Effington says, no matter how bad it gets, now is not the time to cut your bangs. You will regret it. Happy Monday. So glad to see your beautiful faces this morning.
Oh my God. I thought about
do anything desperate.
I thought about cutting my bangs over the weekend. I thought about it. I really did. And then I was like, Amy, don't. What are you doing?
Don't
do it. Don't do it.
Leslie L says, I'm so confused. She could be doing it now. Why are people cheering instead of recognizing she could do this now? Yeah. That's exactly right. I'll tell you why, because they're morons.
I swear. Why? We can see it, right? It's so clear.
Oh my God.
See this. It's common sense. And then it's like on that side, they lose the ability to see common sense. It's crazy.
Teresa Raimundo says, I'm confused. I thought pharmaceutical prices were already happening by our current president, whoever it is. Yeah, I mean, they're constantly talking. I took down pharma. I fought big pharma and won. Okay, well then what is there left to do?
Right. He was going to cure cancer too, remember?
Oh, yeah. That's. I'm sure he's going to do that. He was probly doing that on the beach.
He didn't get to it, when the coup came in, the cabal came in and they had the coup and they forced him out. Yeah, she's going to cure cancer.
Fooball Jesus says the media destroyed Sarah Palin for being dumb, and yet they give Kamala a pass, right? Amy Singleton says, my son works as an engineer at Intel and they are laying off 100,000 people in the next couple of months. He might lose his job. Please pray. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The economy is so much better.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's doing great.
Yeah.
Kim Donaldson says, so glad you're back. Hope Gwen loves her school. I feel for you, Mock. I just dropped my son in High Point, North Carolina last night at home with the dog. First adult apartment with his sweet girl. She starts law school, starts today. Oh my God. I've been crying all week.
We're not talking about we're just not going to talk about it. We're going to pretend that's not happening. But thank you. But we're not talking about it.
Thank you, but I can't. I cannot talk about it.
A lot of crying.
Cam Sweet says, happy double nickel day to me. Caught up to you, Mock. Daisy, did you get your early birthday package? Not asking you to open it early, just curious.
Okay, who is it that said that?
Cam Sweet.
Yes, I have it, and I'm gonna share one. I'm gonna share it at the end.
Okay. Yeah, because I have something to share as well. So stay tuned for that.
It's early.
Also, we now know, I mean, we've already known, but whenever Kamala does these rallies, she's scripted. We all know this. She's not effective when she is caught off the cuff. And the scripting is getting so preposterous that now people are making like voiceover, like side by sides of all of the things that she says at every single rally. And it has gotten so ridiculous.
Good to be back in Pennsylvania. It really is good to be back in Wisconsin. It is so good to be back in Michigan. I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. In this campaign, I proudly put my record against his any day of the week. In this campaign, I'll tell you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Are you
Even
ready
the way
to
she
make
delivers.
your voices heard? Ready to make your voices heard? Are you ready to make your voices heard? When we fight, we win! You know what?
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
It is. It really is. The way she delivers it is exactly the same. It's crazy. Yeah. Copy and paste is right. Gross.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, It's just so ridiculous. And the fact that there was another, I don't think I have the clip of her being asked, are you going to be doing a sit down interview? And she was like, I'm trying to arrange one before the end of the month. She's planning to do one sit down interview by the end of August. This is okay with the people that follow her? What's wrong with you?
And then they say that JD Vance is weird for being available and out there. Yeah. Wow. This is the thing. But she's got the media on her side.
Oh, does she ever? You're going to see an amazing montage in just a second. But first, before we get to that, one of the montage that you're about to see is about how joyful and like amazing this team is and how they're bringing all this energy and joy. But I want to remind people that the real Kamala is the Kamala that we saw in the Kavanaugh trials. She is a ruthless bitch. And I don't care. People are mad at Trump for people are like saying Trump called her a bitch. Oh my gosh, Politico's reporting
she is a bitch.
She is a huge bitch.
Yeah, she is.
Here's just a reminder, because we're going to get to the joyful stuff in a second. But this was a moment that happened at one of her rallies where there were protesters, like there were like the pro-Hamas weirdos who were screaming at her, and she pulls her whole "I'm speaking" thing, and then proceeds to do a death glare at these people for like so long that it is weird. Like it gets uncomfortable. You're going to see it because I'm going to put you all through it, just like I sat through it. But this is the real biatch that Kamala is.
You want Donald Trump to win? Then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Look at her face. This is the face of joy. This is psycho.
This is why Doug Emhoff is the way that he is. That's why right there. He's like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
So much joy.
That's psycho. That's psycho behavior right there. Okay, couple clips, because we do like to remind everybody of some of her more weird moments. This is what we've been doing almost every single day, and we never run out of content ever. So here's where the joy comes from, because she's got the weird cackle, and it like lasts longer than a normal cackle should ever last. That's the weird thing about it. And then sometimes she does these hands too, like she'll start laughing.
When she cackle, it goes with the cackle. It's like the cackle hands. Yeah.
The cackle hands. So I hadn't seen this clip, but she was talking about advice that she had received, like when the going gets tough or whatever. Here is her fail-proof advice.
And when all else fails, just remember there's this little piece of advice I will give you, which I give myself. When all else fails, just be lovely.
Just be lovely? Is that what she said?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
No one finds Kamala funnier than Kamala.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I have
no
idea.
Just be lovely, you guys.
Just be lovely.
Scott Jones says they're T-Rex hands. He's like,
yeah, they are.
Yeah, those here. Okay.
It's so bizarre.
But listen, it's not weird. It's not weird at all.
Not weird at all. That's fine. That's completely fine.
Totally.
But it's moments like that have created this new narrative in the media that this is like a joyful, super joyful campaign. So now the New York Times, Harris used to worry about laughing. Now joy is fueling her campaign.
Marching orders.
Harris and Walz seize on joyful message in contrast to darker Trump themes.
Oh, yes.
Gross.
Trump is dark, you guys. He's dark.
So here comes the montage, and this is just enough to make you absolutely nauseous. Nauseous.
Joe, that's a very interesting observation that you just pointed out.
This isn't even the montage. This is just one clip from MSNBC, and then we'll have another montage later.
The Reagan campaign of 1980. Watching the coach, and I'm going to call him the coach from now until Election Day.
Of course you are.
Watching the coach yesterday and watching the vice president yesterday, it was mesmerizing in the sense that it's been a while since I've seen a rally like that, either on TV or in person.
Tingle
and
up his
watching
leg.
it, you could just sense the power in the hall. And it was the power of joy, the power of laughter, the power of hope for the future, but especially the power of those who were in the hall and those who are thinking or considering voting for this ticket, the vice president and the coach. For those considering voting for the ticket, giving them the power to think that they're participating in something that will put a smile on your face. It's been a long time since any aspect of American politics has put a smile on anyone's face. And these two people yesterday managed to put a smile on the nation's face.
You know what put a smile on my face is if my grocery bill went down, my gas bill went down, if my, all of the stuff, interest rates, if but crime went down in my community.
If we weren't about to face World War III in on multiple fronts.
Right. Yeah. World War III happening, not happening would actually, make a smile go on my face. And, all the illegals in my area and the fact that I know that I'm paying for all these people and it's our communities are just decaying because of all this. Just somebody to come in and just clean that up. That would put a smile on my face. But this bullshit that they're trying to sell people of, it's just, they get out there and they have hated this woman. They have hated her pretty much just as much as we have for 4 years. She's been useless. They don't like her. And now all of a sudden it's like spinning. They're like, listen, marching orders. They've been all these different words and buzzwords. And you see it all across the board. It's pure propaganda. And what's unfortunate is, again, people are so stupid. They buy it. And then he's like, I got a tingle in my privates over this now. Because, now it's like, there's something in the air and I just love it. And it's like, it's positive and it's joy. It's not joyful. I mean, I feel no joy over this. You guys don't feel joy. I mean, there are people on the left who see this and they probably are like, okay, well, it's new and I'm buying the crap that there's. You guys, it's just more of the same socialist crap. If these people get
way more socialist than I think anybody's even prepared for. There was this flashback to a town hall that she did when she was running for president way back when. And this was when she talked about a carbon tax and how there's going to be climate fees that she imposes on companies that, produce too much fossil fuels. And she said the words come out of her face. And it's true that those companies might pass along those charges to the consumers, but we just can't let that stop us. She doesn't care what you can and can't afford.
Right. She doesn't.
She does not care. And this is just one more piece of evidence. She's probably going to try to flip flop on this too, like she's doing everything else. But this is what she really believes.
To my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. Mm-hmm. And that money, a lot of it is going to go to the communities. And this is part of my environmental justice approach to the issue. We're going to do it in a way that is about what we've always done with industry, which is to say that there has to be some connection between the fee and bad behaviors. And there has to be, and that we have to monitor whether it's going to be passed on to consumers. But I'm going to tell you that should never be the reason not to actually put a fee, and in particular, carbon fee. But
it's such bullcrap. These fees never go where they're supposed to go either. So
pocket.
Right. Of course, she gets paid. They all get paid. The elites get paid and they're the elites and you're not. So just case in point, like I put this on our page yesterday, Instagram page yesterday. Harris leads the Democrat administration's $42 billion. It's $42 billion to expand internet to millions of Americans. You guys remember that? Like the whole internet thing?
Yeah, the broadband thing.
Right. So yesterday marked 993 days since that plan was signed into law. 0 people have been connected with those dollars. 0 shovels worth of dirt have been turned. Where's the money? Where is it? Nobody cares. Nobody asked the questions. No journalists out there have asked questions about that. No, I've not heard one person ask about where's the money? Where's the freaking money? You know why? Because nobody is our advocate. Nobody gives a shit about you guys or me paying all these bills. Nobody cares because they forget who they work for. She's my employee. Yep. She's your employee. And nobody cares. She's just like, we'll just get more money. We'll just get more. It's like, whatever. Staple it to the clouds. Nobody cares.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And a huge chunk of her support, the base of her support, comes from young people who are total idiots. And they forget that I didn't realize this either, but because we've played the clip of her denigrating young people, the 18 to 24, calling them stupid. I didn't realize that that's been a pattern with her. She has said it multiple ways and multiple times. behold.
Also, don't forget what we also know about that age range. They can be really stupid. That's why we make them live in dormitories with a resident assistant, with a curfew, right? But let's remember about when we put them in college. What do we do with them? We put them in dormitories with an RA. Why? Because they make stupid decisions. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories. And they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
What's your...
And they are overwhelmingly Democrat.
That's she's right.
Remember, they're the ones who kicked Obama right across the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
It's that demographic. Do you remember? And they're probably going to do the same with Kamala if she wins. It'll be that demographic. So you can call
that and white suburban women. Oh my God,
those two demos will be the ones. It's
They're
like the pearl clutching white suburban women and the 18 to 20, the dumbass 18 to 24 year olds that you talk about, and they'll be like, she called us dumb. No, she didn't. I love her.
She did multiple times.
She's got lady parts and she is melanin.
And that's the thing, is that they're being used. Mm-hmm. So Kamala just said 3 times that we know of, at least, what she thinks of that age group.
Right.
But she will pander to them and they will all completely fall in line.
Make no mistake, she panders to Black people.
Mm-hmm.
She feels the same way about Black people.
Yep.
She may not say it out loud, but she feels the same way about that population. The Democrats do.
That liberal group, Now This, asked her for her favorite curse word. Just thought I'd throw this in here as just one more clip of how just everything is ridiculous, but mostly her.
Favorite curse word?
I can't say it. It starts with an M and it ends with not ER.
Let me talk about why is she the way that she is? Why is she so that way?
How is this chick the vice president of the United States? How? I asked that question to myself on a fairly regular basis, and we're living in idiocracy, you guys.
Oh my God, we're smack dab right in the middle.
We're right in the middle of it.
Right in it. We are following that script. Mm-hmm. And even though there's all this criticism and all this pressure for her to get out there, to do interviews, to be seen, to talk to reporters, she has only spent 77 seconds doing that. And Shannon Bream is actually exactly right when she says why that strategy shouldn't change.
If I'm advising her, I say, just keep doing this. It's working. You have an adoring media. You have people who are not pressing you on what appear to be changes in positions and those kinds of things. It may be the debate is the first time that they get to that. But in the meantime, I wouldn't change anything if I was her. It's working. Her unfavorables are down. Her favorables are up 12 points just since she's been named to the ticket. So why change it if it's working?
I mean, it's a point, right? Why would she? There's no incentive for her to. She's doing everything the way that she wants to do it, and it is working, and the polls are showing it. And amazingly, she is winning this race. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but she is. And that's terrifying. But why should she change? If she's watching how she's doing, there is no incentive for her to get out and talk to people. There's none.
Yeah. But I think that's a commentary on our media and just on our culture in general. We have a huge uphill battle when it comes to winning elections. And it's because 1, they cheat. 2, they have the media.
I don't know what my dog's doing. Hang on.
Okay. 2, they have the media in the bag for them. So it's not like we just have to go on just policy alone. We can't just talk to people about policy, and they're living in policy. People are living in a United States that is a dumpster fire right now. You think that would be enough for people to get off their butts and go and vote and be like, I'm sick of this. I can't live like this anymore. It's not enough. We've got the cult of personality. We've got the media that is, it's just a propaganda machine. It's a PR machine, and we have to fight that. We're not just running against Kamala. We're running against this huge machine.
Totally.
And that is not okay. Like, that's not what our founders wanted. And now more than ever, it's so obvious that that's the case, and it breaks my heart. It makes me mad too. It should make all of us mad.
Yeah, it absolutely should. And it should also make you mad that Tim Walz continues and has continued for his entire career to lie about his military record. And so I think JD Vance has said it really, really well, that this isn't about his service. Of course, we appreciate anybody who serves their country, and Tim Walz did stay in the National Guard for 24 years. Like, you can retire at 20. He stayed for 24. Good on him. That's great. But when the going got a little bit tough, he got out. And he did it in a very he had the right to retire, but the circumstances under which he retired were super sketch. And the fact that he uses a lie to promote himself as the highest ranked non-commissioned officer, enlisted officer, it's just a lie. And there's more and more and more evidence about that coming out. The only thing that Kamala's team has responded to in the way of this criticism is to say, oh, well, he misspoke in this one instance. Too bad, because now we've got like piles and piles of video evidence of him not misspeaking, but lying. Mm-hmm. It's not misspeaking when you do it over and over and over again.
Right.
And so Vance compared and contrasted his service record to Walz's.
United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful.
It is shameful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, it's totally shameful.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is getting, I think, a lot bigger than the campaign expected it to get. This story is not dying. This is not one of those things that they're just going to be able to shove under a rug.
And we should not let it die.
We absolutely will
not
let it die.
Don't let it die, you guys. Just like keep that sucker alive, because this guy's a liar. He's a liar, and he's a Marxist. First and foremost, he's a Marxist, so I can't stand the guy. But he's also a liar, and this is not okay.
Combo, right?
And if you served with honor, and how can you forgive a guy that engages in stolen valor? How?
I don't know how anybody can forgive that's in the service now.
I don't get it. Yeah.
I don't either.
And there are people that I know that I'm friends with in social media land who are in the military who want to vote Harris Walz.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I don't get it.
Wow. Well, and again, they've got a complicit media who continues to provide them cover, and who actually has the audacity to minimize JD's own service, who served during wartime. Here's an example. Here's Breonna Kalar doing that.
I think that JD Vance, as a messenger on this, may be an imperfect messenger, because we have, as you introduced him, as a combat correspondent, which was what his title was. But when you dig a little deeper into that, he was a public affairs specialist, someone who did not see combat, which certainly the title combat correspondent kind of gives you a different impression. So he may be the imperfect messenger on that.
But how dare she?
Yeah, but listen, biatch, he did see combat. In order to correspond on it, he had to see it. You see what I'm saying?
In it.
Right. He wrote about it, and so he was there. It's kind of like being a medic, right? Mm-hmm. It's sort of the same sort of thing where you're not like there fighting, but you're there. You're in the mix of it. You could still die.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the thing.
You're still a target. Wherever you're working, you're a target.
He went.
You're in a war zone.
Right. So he was actually in the combat.
It just makes me so mad.
Oh my
and then
God.
Like Pelosi and then this other Democrat congressperson, Tina Smith, they were both on talk shows where they questioned whether JD had ever served at all.
Oh my God.
Which is freaking crazy. Like, don't even say anything. If you don't know that he has served or what his service has been, don't embarrass yourself by pretending that like maybe he's never served at all, because you just end up looking like an idiot. And you can tell that both the MSNBC person and whoever the next, I'm going to play these two clips just back to back. they both hate, it's Acosta is one of them. They both hate having to admit that JD Vance actually does have a military record. In both of these situations, you'll see him back to back.
JD Vance has criticized him as never having been in combat.
Oh my God.
And has he? And has he? Well, has JD Vance been in combat? Well, I think he was over in Iraq, I think.
Oh my God.
I think maybe he was in Iraq, maybe.
And then this woman is just a complete clown.
Well, here is Tim Walz, who enlisted when he was 17 years old. He served in the National Guard for 24 years. And I'm not aware of any military service that JD Vance has ever served. So let's just make the comparison there. And what happened in the tragedy of the killing of George Floyd and then the unrest. Yeah, okay. Pardon me for that.
I've never.
Pardon
you for that. Pardon you for that. You hag. I'm not aware of any military service. I can't.
I know
can't with these people. Oh my God. And Jim Acosta's like, I really don't want to say this, but I mean, he was a Marine. I just, I
hear they're sort of tough, whatever.
They do. I don't know. They do something armed servicey with those horrible guns that I hate.
I think that is one of the branches of this armed forces.
And maybe something. I don't know.
God.
Something.
And Vance defended the fact that he's made attacks on the record. He defended how he's doing it, and he put this so perfectly it had to be shared.
Criticized what Tim Walz did when he was in the military. I criticized his retirement decision, and most importantly, Dana, I criticized his lying about his own record.
Yes.
Okay, this is a guy who was captured on video saying, I carried a gun in war. He never went to war. This is a guy who's been captured on video. As other people say, he's an Afghanistan veteran. He's a veteran of a war, nodding along in agreement instead of saying, no, I did serve my country and I did it honorably, but I never went to a war zone. I'm not criticizing Tim Walz's service. I'm criticizing the fact that he lied about his service for political gain, Dana. Now, I served in the United States Marine Corps, and you know this. And look, there are a lot of things that I'm proud about. I've never lied about what I did or overstated it because it would be beneficial to me in an election. I think that's what Tim Walz did. That's what I was criticizing. And yes, I do think it's scandalous behavior.
Yeah, because Vance is honorable and Walz is a lying a-hole. There's a difference. This is not hard.
I don't remember if this is still that same clip or if this is another one. So we're just going to play it and see what happens because I genuinely don't remember.
Look at her face. Look at her face right there.
On the question of when he left the National Guard, he filed his election paperwork February 10th, 2005. That was a month before the National Guard even announced that it was possible that they would deploy to Iraq, and it ended up being 2 months. He retired 2 months before they actually got the paperwork.
But on CNN last night, Dana, one of the people who was actually in charge of him said they knew they were going to deploy to Iraq in February of 2004, fall of 2004. So he knew he was going to Iraq. He decided to quit, to retire, whatever word you want to use.
Retire.
Because he wanted to run for Congress. He lied about that. He said that when he decided to retire, he did not know that he was going to Iraq. That is another untruth, as even his senior military officer said. So again, I'm not criticizing the service. I'm criticizing the dishonesty. Dishonesty spoken in favor and for the purpose of political benefit. And I think that the most important thing here, Dana, is it goes to Kamala Harris's judgment.
Question. Donald Trump didn't serve in the military.
So?
He received a medical draft deferment for bone spurs to avoid serving in the Vietnam War, reportedly as a favor to his father. Do you find that shameful, too?
I think that Donald Trump didn't serve in the military, but he didn't lie about it, Dana. I've known Donald Trump for a long time. He really honors our veterans. He honors me for my service. Donald Trump didn't lie about serving in the military. He didn't say that he went to Vietnam when he didn't. This is the problem. I don't criticize anybody. Whether they served our country or not, I think it's honorable to serve, but obviously a lot of people have reasons for not serving. I criticize somebody for embellishing their record, for lying, saying, I went to war. Dana, do you think that it's a problem that he said, I went to war, but he didn't actually? That seems to be a problem to me.
Well, they've corrected that. Let's move on to...
Let's move on
to another important issue to voters.
Hey, Dana, so Trump has taken more bullets for this country than Walz has.
Definitely.
So maybe you should suck it. I don't know. This is why I can't. I would have said that to her.
Yeah. I mean,
but I know
covering for him. She keeps covering. Why?
He never, listen, I know we've all forgotten about that, but technically he has.
Yeah. Well, and it is amazing when there's these little moments that the press seems to do its job. This was one of them where Yamiche Alcindor was talking about the fact that the Kamala campaign team just seems unwilling or uninterested in engaging on this issue. But I don't think they're going to be able to hide from it forever because like you said, like we said, it's not going away and we're going to keep it.
Yep.
All of us collectively need to keep this front and center. Here's Yamiche talking about the campaign's reaction.
I get the sense that the Harris campaign is ready for these attacks, but I have to tell you, Kristen, they're not engaging directly on whether or not he was falsifying his record, his military record. They are, of course, as you said, pointing out that he does have a history of service, both in the National Guard, but also as a teacher, as someone who was a governor, as someone who was a congressional member. So they're sort of leaning in on the fact that he's someone who wants to serve America. And yesterday when he was in Philadelphia, he was also making that point, saying that they want this to be a people-powered campaign and a people-centered administration if they are elected to the White House. But it's very interesting to see them say, yes, he does have a sort of a long history in the military and joined at 17, has trained people who did go into combat zones, is what one source told me, but also is not engaging directly on whether or not he falsified here.
He's just not engaging. He's not engaging.
I loathe these people. I really
I don't know who this fellow is on CNN, but this guy like absolutely positively calls him out.
Walz did make a comment speaking to a group. He's done it a couple of times where he has used language that has suggested that he carried weapons in a fighting situation.
Yes.
As you know, with your contact with the military, I know from coming from a military family, there is a difference between being in a combat area, being involved at a time of war, and actually being in a position where people are shooting at you. There is no evidence that at any time Governor Walz was in a position of being shot at, and some of his language could easily be seen to suggest that he was. So that is absolutely false when he said that about gun rights out there.
So what you're saying is that he's a dirty commie liar. Is that what you're saying? We can all surmise that's what he's saying there.
I mean, I feel like that's what he was saying.
You can sum that up real quick in a nice little bow. My God.
Vinny, thank you very much for the super sticker. Nani's Treasure House says her record with staff, one title she did earn was bitch. Yeah, she's awful. She's absolutely awful. Reba Henry says Walz should be brought up on charges. It's a criminal crime to lie about your military service. I would be down to see that happen.
I totally would be down with that. Yeah. But I mean, that won't happen because they're too busy bringing charges up against Trump, who actually got shot in the head for his country. I know it's lost on everybody. It's like they're burying that story.
Mark K says, as a veteran, I will tell you when public affairs deploys with infantry, if his platoon was attacked, he drops the camera and picks up an M16. Therefore, CNN is filled with empty-headed see you next Tuesdays. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. Tom Cotton, always good, always effective about saying what is what. And here he is on this topic.
First off, I want to say I respect the service of all veterans, to include Tim Walz, who served for more than 20 years. But now even the campaign has acknowledged he's made past inconsistent statements about his service. I think he should answer questions about those statements. I think he also needs to answer questions about his 35-year-long financial relationship with the Chinese Communist Party, someone who took 30 trips to China and took students with him so they could be exposed to communist propaganda. But more than anything, Shannon, we need to remember that Tim Walz is the vice presidential nominee. Kamala Harris is at the top of the ticket. She's the one that needs to take questions. She refuses to take questions about what direction she would take this country in. She hasn't had a single proposal since she became the presidential nominee. Well, I take that back. Last night she said that she was going to eliminate taxes on tips. So the only proposal she's had since she became a presidential nominee is to steal one of Donald Trump's ideas at a time when her administration said that they would crack down on the taxation of tips. That's why they needed $87 billion for more IRS enforcement. This is the kind of flip-flopping and deception you get from Kamala Harris, who is a dangerous San Francisco liberal who has taken positions in the past like decriminalizing illegal immigration and giving health care to illegal aliens. Her campaign claims that she's changed. She needs to answer questions about why she changed and when she changed.
Yeah, and that policy is so rich because the feedback on that, the reaction to that when Trump said it, was totally different than when Kamala said it.
We have a whole thing about that because, and I've got a lot of reaction too, because that was a remarkable moment that deserves its own segment, and so we're going to give it one because, damn, I mean, what in the actual F was happening with that, right? Like that's freaking crazy.
Yeah, it just shows you how disingenuous the media is. They just suck so hard, you guys.
Oh my gosh. And just to show you that there's way more to the story. I mean, people are trying to act like, or the campaign is trying to act like, oh, it was just a one-off. He misspoke in a one-off. No. There are so many examples. Here's another video where he nods along with what they're saying.
Tim Walz, also a member of the Armed Services Committee and Veterans Affairs, Democrat of Minnesota, highest ranking enlisted soldier ever to serve in Congress. Enlisted in the Army National Guard at 17 and retired 24 years later as Command Sergeant Major and served with his battalion at Operating Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan.
Oh my God.
And I read that
oh my
because
God.
I want to preface our discussion with your military careers because
lying
Afghanistan? What? He never stepped foot in Afghanistan. What is even happening?
He's a lying Marxist. Liar.
Oh my God. And they've covered it for him for years. I mean, this is an old C-SPAN chyron, which says Afghanistan war vet.
Look, there's Nancy behind him. Look, there's Nance.
Oh my God. And then his own former Twitter, like he had a Twitter profile for when he was running for Congress, and now he's got a different one that's like VP nominated, whatever. But the one that he used to use forever had Command Sergeant Major on it. Even after he was elected, it stayed as part of his bio forever. It's still there. Like if you look at his old account, it's still there.
Full
so I mean,
of crap.
They don't get to say this was a one-off or a misspeak. They do not.
And you guys hold their feet to the fire. Keep this one going because listen, they've buried everything. Look at all the stuff that they bury. We just named a couple today, but like the transgender shooter, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. I mean, they try to bury all this stuff because they're like, it's inconvenient for them. We don't want to talk about that, but we want to talk about this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how your VP candidate is a lying commie. Let's talk about
that. Lying, stealing a Valor commie.
Right.
And it got really real last night because his battalion commander came out on his Facebook page to rip him a new one. And basically, I mean, this is as bad as it gets. And I'm not a part of the military, but I understand from reading a lot of commentary from folks who have that background that this is bad. Like when your battalion commander calls you out for being a wuss and a coward, that actually means that has a sting. That like packs a punch, as they say.
Yeah.
So it's not going away. It's not going away, and they're going to have to address it. And I cannot wait for that debate.
And the way that this was spun on the left was, well, I mean, the military is like a family, and sometimes families don't get along. Okay. All right. I mean, nice try, but seriously, this one, it totally stings. Yeah.
And let's not forget that Walz too is as commie as Kamala. Like they are peas in a pod when it comes to how radical they are. Here's a clip of him, for example, telling his audience that Pelosi asked him to tone down how pro-choice he is. This is telling. This stuff right here is very, very telling.
The record is so pro-choice. Nancy Pelosi asked me if I should tone it down. I stand with Planned Parenthood, and we won.
I mean,
okay. My record is so I want to kill all the babies up until the time that literally they're coming out, and even beyond that. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, screw the babies, right? Nancy Pelosi told me to tone down that.
And you heard him. He was so screamy. Like that was very Howard Dean.
Very Howard Dean.
You know what I mean? Yikes. Okay. So here's the montage I mentioned earlier of just the praise, the disgusting, nausea-inducing praise by this media, so many members of the media about the Kamala Harris and Walz ticket. This is gross, you guys.
He's extremely progressive. He's the
this
most
is not it. That was not it. I'm sorry.
This is it.
This is it right here.
Moderate. One of the most moderate.
Very moderate record.
A new moderate. I think this is the new moderate.
Far from progressive.
He's right down the middle.
He's not just an old white man.
Tim Walz beats American.
talks like a regular person.
Tim Walz is the opposite of weird.
Walz is basically younger Joe Biden. Regular old Joe out there.
Populist approach to fear on the Republican side, and the happy populism that Tim Walz is on the ticket on the Democratic side.
Walz is a kind of happy warrior.
Happy warriors.
Happy warriors. He was certainly the happy warrior last night and seemed to be the happy warrior last night.
A happy warrior, folksy backstory.
Are going to be very happy warriors.
There is a new happy warrior.
Following the kind of happy warrior mold.
Happy warrior.
Happy warrior mentality.
Wicked sense of humor. Look how happy the pig looks. That's good.
Now let's do Vance.
And JD Vance is weird, extreme, and angry.
Utter humorlessness. The humorlessness and pompousness.
It's hard to believe that JD Vance could be any more extreme.
It's like a freak show of bros.
They have JD Vance, dark and ugly beneath the dignity of most politicians.
JD Vance.
JD is at the far extreme.
The most extreme. Being one of the most extreme. We need to recognize the danger.
Angry and mean and dark.
Cat lady hating sidekick JD Vance. This guy is really weird, y'all.
Everybody in America knows a JD Vance, but we stay away from him because he's weird.
Anger, chaos.
A hangdog ex-husband.
He was able to reach all the way down to a JD Vance.
And now back to
Hope,
Walz.
optimism, joy.
Salt of the earth, Midwestern uncle vibes, the quintessential Midwestern dad.
Tim Walz keeps winning hot dish contests, apparently. There's some folksy charm. Tim Walz is so funny that if he's good at this, he will release a recipe for a hot dish.
All of his time on the ground, fixing F-150s.
Ops out of a Norman Rockwell painting,
Oh
right?
my
He's
God.
small town America incarnate.
Midwest, your uncle, your dad.
I have not been this happy in years. He's the guy who is always there to help you, whether it's changing your oil, whether it's fixing a lawnmower, or whether it's helping to fix our democracy. It feels so good to have hope.
And I'm going to call him the coach from now until election day.
Coach. Tim Walz, the plain-spoken fun uncle who will defend the people he loves.
Proud, the resilient, the hardworking, patriotic.
Ice fishes. He's a hunter. He does butter carving. He is a rural person.
Can you even? The difference, the contrast. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God.
Yeah. My favorite was David Hogg, who's like, he can help you change your tire and do all the stuff that I can't do because I'm a beta male and I can't do any of the stuff except for do my nails because I'm
Oh my
David
God.
Hogg. You guys, folksy and all of the stuff that they said, joy is now communism. Joyfulness is communism now. That's what they're trying to equate it to. It's remarkable. They get their marching orders. They get all these buzzwords and you see it. I mean, it's right before your eyes. Like if you're a troll in here and you can't see what they're doing to you, we
You're
can't
just
help.
so dumb.
We can't help you. You are brainwashed and you dare to call us cultists. You're the ones in the cult. You're falling for this. You're falling for pure propaganda because we don't have propaganda. We just simply don't. 95% of the news is geared towards liberals. It's geared towards towards Marxists. That's what they're doing. And they're people fall for this garbage.
It's amazing. It is amazing. I'm about to show you some crazy from James Carville, who is upset at Jesse Waters for criticizing criticizing Walz and all. One of the things that people keep bringing up about Walz, which is true, is that he had tampons in boys' bathrooms. This is why they call him Tampon Tim.
And he did.
And this is crazy. That's not normal. That's freaking crazy.
That's weird.
And normal people know that is weird. But James Carville was really mad at Jesse Waters et al. For criticizing it. And so he had a message to share. And he's crazy. This is weird.
Governor Tim has called him weird, and that doesn't nearly describe this. So I have a message to Jesse and of the whole freak show is why don't you take a tampon and shove it right up your ass? Because that's where it goes. Right up your ass.
That's not where it goes.
Or maybe you could stick it in your mouth and maybe you could take a used one and stick it in your mouth and suck on it. Because that's what you do. You suck. Thank you and good night.
Okay. Maybe he needs to do that because did you see the pink sweatshirt? I think he may need a tampon. He is unhinged.
Oh my
that guy.
God. That is mental.
He's completely lost it. But you know what? I think a lot of that anger is because he knows that, like, deep down, because listen, he was a Clinton guy. Okay. That was what, like the early 90s. So, I mean, he was a Clinton Democrat. There's got to be a part of James Carville that's like, listen, we really don't need tampons in boys' restrooms. There has to be. You know, there's a shred of him.
They fall in line, though. They rally.
Okay, they rally, but you know, deep down, he's married to a Republican woman. Well, a Republican, probably like a Republican in name only, but still, he's married to a Republican woman, and he's got girls. And you know that deep down in his, like, the core of his being, he knows that it's wrong to put tampons in boys' restrooms, it drives him insane. It drives him insane. And he's got his pink LSU sweatshirt on, and he's like,
What a freak show.
He's
man.
freaking out, and it angers him because he doesn't know how to process that. He doesn't know how to process the fact that his party is putting tampons in boys' restrooms. That's effed up, you guys. That's weird, and it's gross. And they're doing it. And that's what the Democrat Party has become. And he has to live with that because that's his life. He has literally put his whole life's work into that party, and they are messed up. And they're a bunch of freaking weirdo commies now.
Oh, and just wait till we show you the supporters that attend these rallies. Cause oh my God, I was laughing so hard at some of the just absolute stereotypes that are in real life just playing out.
Oh
it
my
was
God.
Unbelievable. Somebody calls him Tim Pax, which I think is perfect.
It's so great.
I love that.
Tim
Brian
Pax.
Brumley says, trying to figure out who had the longer face, Dana Bash or Secretariat. Shelley Bolton says, we must be praying diligently about this election. Sorry for shouting, but people need to freaking wake up.
They
Love
do.
you, beautiful chicks. I know. This is why we're trying to do it every day. We get out here.
Right.
Sarai King says, saying she will regulate rent means BlackRock will own all single family homes. You're entirely right. I mean, the things that she is proposing are commie.
Yeah.
They're communist proposals.
We're already sliding in that direction. You know, but this election is it's so important because if they get into office, you guys put a fork in us. We're done. It's going to be really hard to turn back. It's so important.
I don't know how we recover. I really don't.
I don't either.
And then the fact that they can so brazenly, as we talked about earlier, steal Trump's ideas as their own, as Kamala did this weekend with the no tax on tips idea. It's so brazen. It's unbelievable, but it's true. This is what she said.
Including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
I mean, how?
It's remarkable.
How is this a thing?
I don't even know. And they're all like, "Oh, it's a great idea." But when Trump said it was terrible. It was a terrible idea.
And especially because she was the tie-breaking vote on passing the Inflation Reduction Act, which of course raised inflation. So she's the one that passed the bill that expanded the IRS specifically to go after people not paying taxes on tips.
Right.
And so what has she been doing? It's her fault. Biden's IRS planned it with that Inflation Reduction Act to crack down on waiters' tips. And now she's like, oh, we're going to totally reverse that. Every reporter, like Stephen Miller said, everyone should be asking her to explain herself at once.
They won't do it.
Oh my
God. They won't, which is why this is the thing, because they have got the media in their pocket and they will not ask the question. Instead, they're going to focus on the cult of personality, all this personality bullcrap, which nobody's going to focus on actual policy. They're just going to let her say the things, which is she's going to just go and flip-flop. She's, Kamala flip-flop. She's going to flip-flop on all the things that she's done, and they're going to let her have a pass.
Yeah.
This is why she's winning, Mock. It's why.
I know. And they're going to promote this idea as some amazing brainchild of Kamala's. Right. Even though just weeks ago when Trump proposed it, we've got articles from Mother Jones and from Rolling Stone. Why Donald Trump's plan to stop taxing tips is a lame political stunt.
Good.
And this isn't fooling labor leaders. And now they're all like, this is amazing.
And truly, it's a conservative policy. That's another thing that's so crazy. It's conservative. It's kind of like the border stuff. The border stuff that she's touting now is conservative. And it's only to get into office. So then she can just say, I didn't say that. Screw you guys. We're Marxists. F you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's incredible.
lies. It's all lies.
And this was interesting from a Black insurrectionist. He said, do you know why she copied? Here's why. Number one, the Biden-Harris team actually had the IRS cracking down on tips, and this was a bad look. Then Representative Thomas Massie introduced the Tax-Free Tip Act of 2024 back in June. When Congress gets back, they will likely push this bill through.
Oh my God.
And then Kamala will say, look what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be like, Trump was just all talk, but she's actually the one that got it done. I mean, can you just see it happening?
Yeah, I can't. I just, this woman stands for nothing.
Oh my God.
She is just a flip-flopping, vapid shell of a human being. She's a true Marxist politician, and it's gross. She stands for nothing, and people fall for it.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Joe Concha actually made fun of just how brazen this was and how a copy move it was, and it was hilarious. Here he is in this clip.
Essence, right? Tim Walz is the stolen Valor VP, and now you have Kamala Harris stealing the really, really good idea of Donald Trump. And then the media, I read more. I can't believe the headlines I saw today. Kamala Harris proposes no tax on tips. No context whatsoever around Trump's idea first. So this is the Etch-a-Sketch AI chat GPT candidate who lives in a teleprompter. This was written for her, obviously. She didn't come up with it on her own. So I want to know what's next. The Kamala border wall? That'll be interesting. How about Kamala tax cuts?
Right.
Kamala drill baby drill policy? I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. And thank God for this network that we're calling this out, because God knows CNN, MSNBC, New York Times don't feel the need to talk about the context around it.
Well, when she finally sits down for an interview, maybe.
This is Trump's reaction. He was like, Kamala Harris, whose honeymoon period is ending and is starting to get hammered in the polls, just copied my no taxes on tips policy. The difference is she won't do it. She just wants it for political purposes. This was a Trump idea. She has no ideas. She can only steal from me. Remember, Kamala has proposed the largest tax increase in history. It won't happen. Make America great again.
It's a good tweet.
It's a pretty good tweet. It is a pretty good tweet.
Yeah.
And then just because it was hilarious talking about what she might copy next, I thought this was so funny that somebody put her head on this picture.
My God. They'll probably rewrite history, and they'll do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them.
You can't.
These people are sick.
Oh my God, they really are. All right. So I think that this is, yes. So Biden sat for an interview, and you guys, he's barely alive. I mean, I think that was my big takeaway, is that he's hanging on by the thinnest of threads at this point. Like, he sounds bad and he just looks bad and everything's bad. So in this first clip, you're going to hear him talk about the transfer of power and whether or not it will be a peaceful one if Trump were to win. He has a hard time getting his point across, but he eventually makes it. Here's that clip.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all.
Oh, okay.
He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath.
That's not what he said.
I know.
He didn't say that, and you're a liar. And he also lied about Charlottesville.
And he does. Yeah, that's next. I think it's next, but it's in one of these clips. It was just funny because after he did the interview, he had tweeted about how Kamala Harris will be ready to serve on day one. Let's make her president. And Scott Jennings was like, "You could do that right now,
right?
Do you not?
Yeah.
Do you not know that?
You're clearly unfit. So, hello.
I mean, hello." And he also replied to Biden's comment about the peaceful transfer of power, because Biden is once again trying to stoke up rage and unnecessary and unwarranted fear. So here he is on that front.
So should Americans have confidence in a peaceful transfer of power if Trump loses?
I think Americans should have confidence in our diffuse system of elections. The reason that we had a transfer of power last time, and the reason this whole thing works, is because we have a diffuse system of elections where county clerks and secretaries of state and volunteers and people all over this country come together to have a free and fair election every 4 years. January 6th was a terrible day. I have the utmost confidence in our electoral system. I have confidence in the Constitution. I do not have confidence in what I just heard Joe Biden say, repeating this damnable lie that Donald Trump has promised a bloodbath. That never happened. That is a lie, and it's been debunked 100 times, and I'm disappointed the president continues to repeat it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought we were going to like bring down the temperature.
Yeah, exactly. That is not being brought down. And he's still going with this ridiculous fine people hoax.
Oh my God.
When I spoke to the mom who lost her daughter as a consequence of those neo-Nazis and white supremacists come out of fields in America with torches, carrying Nazi banners, singing the same sick anti-Semitic bile that was sung in Germany in the 30s. And when her daughter was killed, the press went to the then President Trump and said, "What do you think?" He said, "They're very fine people on both sides."
He did not.
And I knew then. I knew I had to do something. And that's how I decided to run. Because democracy is literally at stake.
That's not when you decided to run. That's when Obama decided to run you. And you did, seriously, nothing has been done of your own accord. You didn't decide any of this. You were also put in there. You were placed in a position.
You were installed.
And then you were taken out. Because you're weak and pathetic, just like every other Democrat that's placed. And then you preach to all of us about democracy. Everybody on that side needs to shut up and take all the seats and quit preaching to us about democracy. And that didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's like, quit with this lie. Even Snopes has debunked this.
Yeah. Well, he is finally answering questions about why he got out. And he's essentially admitting he was told, "You're hurting our election chances."
Look, the polls we had showed that it was a neck and neck race. Would have been down to the wire. But what happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races. And I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic. You'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did someone, and I thought it'd be a real distraction.
Will we see?
This next clip is he's being asked, "Are you going to go out on the campaign trail for Kamala?" And here's what he said.
You out on the campaign trail for Vice President Harris?
Yes, you will. I talk to her frequently, and by the way, I've known her running mate is a great guy. As we say, if we grew up in the same neighborhood, we'd have been friends. He's my kind of guy. He's real. He's smart. I've known him for several decades. I think it's a hell of a team.
Stakes are that high to you?
I give you my word. I think that I mark my words. If he wins this nomination, this election, watch what happens. It's a danger. He's a genuine danger to American security.
That was about Trump. So he's again taking that temperature down, right? He's taking it down.
Again, it's like he didn't say he's a threat to democracy, but he basically said that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. All right. This guy, he sounds awful.
Oh my God. And like he can't catch a breath, right? Like he's barely hanging on.
He really is barely hanging on. It's really, really bad.
It is bad. Last one of him was just about, what do you say to Americans who are worried about you still being president in your condition? And here's what he said.
Those who have expressed skepticism about how much you'll be on the trail or about the rest of your term, raise questions about your health. What do you say to them?
All I can say is watch. That's all. Look, I had a really, really bad day in that debate because I was sick. But I have no serious problem.
Really? Do you really not have any serious problems?
You had a host of serious problems, dude. There was a host.
Come on.
Yeah.
There's a host. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Andrew Huff says, "Don't forget the $35 insulin was Trump's idea as well. Plagiarist Joe and vice plagiarist Kamala overturned Trump's executive order about to go into force on their first day in office." Yeah, I mean, they're just big, fat liars.
Liars, phonies, and crooks. All of them.
And they are absolutely psychotic, as are their followers, as you will see from one of the people that opened up at one of their rallies. This is a teacher who has a very interesting idea about what teaching is about. And I can tell you right now, it's not good.
I'm also a mother of 3 beautiful adult children, and they are all teachers like me.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Growing up, I always knew I wanted to be a teacher because I saw education for what it really was. The greatest instrument of social justice in this country.
Oh, not teaching, not actually imparting knowledge to children.
Or educating.
Right.
No, it's about social justice.
About social justice, you guys.
Instrument. Oh my God.
An
Oh my
instrument of-
God.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. This is how they really feel.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
All right.
this
So
is-
now you're about to see quite a montage. I'm just going to let them all run together because the people that have fallen for the bullshit, the people that are in the camp of Kamala supporters are exactly the kind of people that you would expect. They look the way that you would expect and they talk the way you would expect. Here is the montage.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win. I mean, not to be, cocky, but I'm optimistic.
I've always been a supporter of, she's a woman, and she's black, and she'll be the first president candidate that I think she will win. And like I said, I'm all about equal access and equal women health choice.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
I don't want to lose my rights. Like, I'm a trans man and I'm gay and I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before and I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid of not being able to be myself anymore because from what I've heard, Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. So
For crying out
that's
loud.
why I'm here today and that's why I'm voting blue.
What about you?
I've also been pregnant and had an abortion before. I was a minor and it would have been dangerous for me to properly, it would have been dangerous for me to carry a baby with personal reasons and everything. I also I'm very, alternative, and I feel like if Trump were to win, I wouldn't be able to express myself through my looks and
Oh my
everything,
God.
and wouldn't be able to have the piercings or the dyed hair or the tattoos that I want. I would be able to be myself, and my dad's very pro-Trump, and I'm just very
pro-Kamala.
Pro-Kamala. Yeah,
She doesn't like
I
her
don't
daddy.
know. It's
Does
just,
that cause a divide at all?
yeah, it definitely does. He thinks
Surprise.
that someone's going to ruin
She doesn't like her
the country,
daddy.
but I
I'm
think that
surprised.
Trump would do worse, a lot. Kamala is going to be good for the country.
Why are you voting for Kamala Harris?
Oh, for crying out
She
loud.
is the woman that we need right
Oh
now.
my God.
Is there
It's
any
a cat
specific
lady.
policies or anything that really makes you vote for her?
That's not
I
weird.
just believe in her. I
Not weird.
believed in her when I lived in California, and I still believe in her now.
Because she's all about the middle class. She's like us, and Trump is bad. That's just.
Trump's bad.
She's everything we're looking for. She is. She's just everything we're looking for.
She has a mask on.
Peace and love and sharing and
Oh my
cooperation
God.
and healthcare and food for kids. What a crazy idea. We love her. Yeah. She's amazing. We need her. This country needs her. And Tim Walz.
Are the cat ladies for Kamala? So can you kind of explain that to me?
Well, I think you got it right there. To go
That's
any
it.
further than that.
Are you a cat lady for Kamala?
I am a cat lady for Kamala, obviously.
Because I saw you in line earlier with this childless cat lady is voting Kamala. Can you explain the reasoning behind this shirt?
Because I don't have kids. We tried to have kids.
Oh,
waited
shocker.
too long. We were enjoying our, life. And just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you're a bad person. And she cares about everybody, not just people who don't have kids. What happens if I couldn't have a child? What happens if I had medical problems? That's not right. You don't talk down to people because they don't have kids. Doesn't mean they're bad. And these guys, are all about it. Us, everybody, not just the 1%.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
It's ridiculous how anymore it's really hard for people like us, like queer people and just anyone else in that general umbrella. Thank you. General umbrella. It's just really hard for us to get rights. And with
What?
how the Republicans are handling everything, it's just putting more and more stress on us, basically taking away everything we have. And it's just important that we feel safe just even living here. Because everyone's been wanting to leave the country, and this is the only chance we have to properly fix everything.
What about you?
I would definitely say that I want to keep my rights. I really do. As a queer individual,
Oh my,
and
these
someone
people
who
are
is
so
physically
brainwashed.
disabled, and may not like be able to do certain things, I feel like they probably wouldn't have accommodations for someone like me, especially given that I
say she's disabled?
like women as a woman.
I guess.
I want to keep access to my bank accounts. I would like to
What?
keep making money. I don't want to be some man's object. I really don't.
What
I
in
think you're
the
okay.
world?
I think you're okay.
Is terrifying. I don't like. I read through some of it, and it was just insane. It's bad.
Abortion rights and the fact that Trump is wanting to take them away. Abortion rights are very important to me and my family for personal reasons, and that I see girls that are like all over the world struggling to get their rights, and so that's very important to me.
Killing babies, killing all the babies. Cat ladies and baby killers. But listen, y'all are weird.
Right.
But those people are normal, right?
That's the new normal, and we're the weird ones. Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that Mika and Joe want to hang out with. Don't you know?
I mean, Trump called it out exactly right.
Comrade Walz and Comrade Harris win this November. The people cheering will be the pink-haired Marxists, the looters, the perverts, the flag burners, Hamas supporters, drug dealers, gun grabbers, and human traffickers.
Yep.
But with a Trump Vance victory, the cheers will come from the police officers, the firefighters, the Border Patrol agents, the steel workers, small business owners, parents, and hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And
Yep.
The normies. The normies are who will be excited.
Damn straight. I am proud to call myself a normie. Because damn.
Yeah, because speaking of the non-normies, Cori Bush, who, as you know, lost her primary last week, I did not know that she went on an absolute psychotic rampage afterwards. So I clipped it because people were clapping for her, like her followers were clapping like a lot in between a lot of her sentences. So I took all the applause out just in the interest of time. But you guys, she's sounding like really threatening against AIPAC, who did nothing to her except support her challenger because she's an anti-Semitic hag.
Right.
So for her to be like, I'm taking them down or whatever it is that you're about to hear her say, she's psychotic.
Pulling me away from my position as Congresswoman. All you did was take some of the strings off. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
I think she's going to be clear.
Let's be clear.
Maybe. I don't.
Let's be clear.
Did KJP write
Let's talk about what it really is. Because see, now I don't have to worry about some strings that I have attached, and as much as I love my job. But all they did was radicalize me, and so now they be afraid. See, now they about to see this other Cori, this other side, because let me say this. I just grew up a whole lot more over the last few weeks. AIPAC, I'm coming to tear your kingdom down.
Oh, I think that's a threat. I feel like that's
not
a threat.
well.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but I think she was trying to be clear. I don't know.
She's not well. That's not a well woman. That is a psycho.
Also kind of weird.
Oh my God. Okay, we also need to talk about all the rumors that are going around about crowd sizes. So Trump is contributing to this, saying, has anyone noticed that Kamala cheated at the airport? There was nobody at the plane, and she AI'd it and showed a massive crowd of so-called followers, but they didn't exist. She was turned in by a maintenance worker at the airport when he noticed the fake crowd picture. Anyway, he went on and on and on about how the crowds are fake. They're not real. And this is not at all helpful. I just don't see the point of this. If he wants other people to speculate about crowd sizes, but this does not help.
Okay, so
anything.
I agree with that. I think the speculation is okay from other people, not from him.
Yeah, it makes him look like he's bothered by it. You know what I mean?
Right. Because I feel
And
like
he
there was enough speculation from other people that he didn't probably need to do this. Yeah. Because man, it was everywhere over the weekend.
Oh my God, it was everywhere. And it was also debunked. And so like all of this nonsense about how there's no reflection or all of the crazy stuff.
But people holding up their phones and everybody had different things on their phones. I mean, people are like all sorts of, everybody was speculating everything. And listen, I gotta tell you, I don't know what to believe anymore. I just don't. I don't trust anybody. So whatever. I'm just going to go with what.
It's very hard to not trust when you're looking at a live event on C-SPAN or whatever, or all the people that were at those events posting their own videos. I mean, you guys, there were plenty of people there that she had a huge audience. There's no getting around the fact that she has huge energy on her campaign right now. And denying that is useless. Like, what's the point of that except to like maybe make us feel better? It doesn't, because it's a lie. She has a huge crowd presence right now and it sucks. But we have to fight the message, not like make up stories about these people not really existing.
Well, if anything, the message should be she has huge energy because of the fact that we have this propaganda machine that we're fighting, and we need to rise up and fight back against it.
Yes.
It should make people fired up and go, oh my God, how are they doing this? Well, we know how. So we better get off our asses and go vote, because they are
get people engaged, get people more active.
Yeah. I mean, this is insane. It's insane that they have these crowds. There should be no crowds. This woman is a loser, and her VP candidate is even a bigger loser. And the fact that this woman is actually getting any crowds based on the policies that she's been destroying this country over the past almost 4 years. She shouldn't have 3 people there.
Yeah.
Based on what we're living through.
Ridiculous, like this excitement over it not being Biden. That's what they're excited about. They're like so relieved that it's not Biden that they could have literally put up anybody and the crowds would be like this just from pure relief.
Right.
And that's sad.
And
that
you should be
pathetic.
You should be frightened that there are that many stupid people that are going to go vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message.
And it's working. As we said, as Shannon Bream said, polling is showing that she would be better on the economy than Trump now. She's actually pulled 1 point ahead of him, which is absolutely insane. So her hiding is working. Her repeating the same lines at all of her rallies is working, because the people that buy her nonsense are brain dead. That's why it's working. And it's a hard fight to fight, right? Like, because we're counting on people to be critical thinkers, and they're just not. You saw the montage. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that are voting for that psycho.
Yeah. They're like, abortion. I like my cats.
And so for Trump to say stuff like, oh, we're polling so much ahead. Why are you saying that? You should be saying to everybody, we need every last vote. We need you so engaged that you need to drag 10 or 15 people with you to the polls. That's the messaging I want to hear from Trump, because I don't like hearing that he's all confident, like, oh, we're leading.
Right. Because we're fighting a machine. We're not fighting 2 people. We're fighting a machine, and we need to get everybody to have skin in this game.
Yep.
Because this is insane, you guys. We're fighting like this is a propaganda war at this point.
Totally. Also, we need to bring you into this, Bernie.
But why?
Because you were asked on a talk show, like, how are you okay with all the flip-flops from Kamala? I mean, especially because she's flip-flopping on a lot of the policies that Bernie agrees with, right? Now she's distancing herself from that. And so he admits openly, well, this is all political. This is just to win an election. I mean, he basically says it, and yet the sheep will still follow.
What a difference a few weeks makes. Before President Biden dropped out of the presidential race, that was...
I forgot that he's got to say stuff about the polls really fast. Please hold.
3 weeks ago today, Democrats were discouraged. Republicans were on a roll, and it looked like Donald Trump was well on his way to winning back the White House. Now, a new New York Times Siena poll of the battleground states likely to determine who will win shows that the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz ticket has the momentum, leading Trump-Vance by 4 points among likely voters in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. That's a dramatic change after what the Times is calling the worst 3 weeks of Donald Trump's 2024 campaign.
Okay, so now here's Bernie. And listen, I know people are like poll schmoles, they don't matter. And that's fine. You can ignore them, but I think ignoring them is not a smart thing for Trump's team to do, right? Like he should not be like, we're leading everywhere when the polls clearly say that they're not. They should be acting like they are they're behind and that they're clamoring for every vote possible.
Or, I mean, like, listen, if you're going to ignore them all the time.
Right. Don't be like, I'm leading in the poll. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Just like pick a lane. Just pick a lane and be consistent. That's how I feel about polls. And I just freaking hate polls. I hate them all the time. I hate them all the time. So everybody just ignore them all the time.
All the time. There you go. Right. And I'm not falling for propaganda. I'm actually being realistic. The same way that I was when you guys were all like, red wave. I was the one saying, that's not going to happen. So I have some history with this. So don't say that I'm hoodwinked. I'm actually just being a realist. Here's Bernie on the flip-flop.
Just talking about some of the policies that you care most about. She has reversed herself on some, like Medicare for all, on some parts of immigration policy, fracking. Does that give you cause for concern?
Well, look, she has to run her campaign, and I'm sure she is, talking to all kinds of people to come up with an agenda that will lead to victory in November.
Yeah, so basically she's lying. Yeah, she's lying, and she's going to just say what she has to say to get elected. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That guy has been 150 years old for the past 20 years.
He really has.
Mm-hmm.
He really has. Just wanted to include this last clip of Vance because it was so good. They're still pestering him about what Trump said about Kamala not being black or not being Indian or whatever it was that he said. They're questioning Vance about it. And I loved how he answered the question. It was absolutely perfect. Here he is.
I believe that Kamala Harris is whatever she says she is, but I believe importantly that President Trump is right that she's a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing in front of one audience. She pretends to be something different in front of another audience. Look, Dana, she's not running a political campaign. She's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one audience and a different set of policies to another audience. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of.
He freaking owned that interview, and she just didn't. And she looked like a total goofball in it. Yeah, he just was masterful at that whole thing.
He really was. I mean, that was all of his interviews were great this weekend.
Yeah,
Absolutely
he was fantastic in all of them. And it's just nice to see a leader lead. And he led in interviews.
He absolutely did. You're right. Michael Parsons says the only crowd size that matters is the crowd at the polls. You are damn right about that.
That's right.
Nancy Pelosi, this is bizarre. So she did a couple of different interviews. One where she was talking about the letter that Joe Biden released. Remember that weekend where he said, I'm getting out of the race. And there was this weird letter.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's trying to achieve with this, but she's basically saying that letter, it sounds to me like she's saying she doesn't believe Biden wrote the letter, which I don't think anybody believes that he wrote the letter.
No.
But what is her strategy? Like, somebody's got to explain to me what her goal is in saying this.
I didn't accept the letter as anything but a letter. I mean, there are some people who were unhappy with the letter. Let me say that some said that some people were unhappy with the letter. I'll put it in somebody else's mouth because it was I don't even know, it didn't sound like Joe Biden to me. It really didn't. So,
she's drunk. She's clearly drunk in that clip. I mean, am I wrong? Because
there was something going on in that clip. I don't know what.
Lot of scotch. There's a lot of scotch in that clip because
my God.
Yeah, that was bad. It was really bad.
Right?
You're the one who forced him out. I mean, she's part of the cabal that forced him out. Why would she even say that?
This is my thing. I cannot figure out what the point of that was. like what
It's like
she was trying to achieve.
Of course it doesn't sound like him, and it wasn't him because it wasn't him, because it was you
Right.
guys as a collective that did it. It was probably Obama's speechwriter that did it, or somebody that was in that group of people that forced him out. It was a coup, and you were part of it, Nance. Do you not remember? You've had too much more. It's all the martinis we're talking. And
All the martinis. Holy
all of
cow.
them. She has just got to pull back from all the interviews because she is she's the opposite spectrum of JD Vance, where she does not control those situations very well anymore.
Yeah.
She's getting to be too old to do these things. And she's very pinched. She's looking a lot like Michael Jackson in the end years. Is it me?
Well, speaking of pinch, I love Jen Psaki's face right now in this screenshot. She looks like she smelled something really terrible.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
But she also interviewed Nancy Pelosi and was asking about how the relationship between Nancy and Joe is right now. And that's, you can tell that there are some issues.
Seen up close the relationship you have with President Biden, and he respects you, he loves you. That's what I saw when I was working for him. And you've known each other for so long. And David Remnick asked you if you thought your relationship would survive after President Biden dropped out, and you said, "I hope so, I pray so, I cry so." And you said you lose sleep over it. And I just was wondering how this has impacted you personally the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's been again, his legacy as a preeminent president, just a
Mount Rushmore.
I mean, and it's hard to, he's right there among the top few.
Oh my God.
Very consequential president.
So drunk.
I wanted the decision to be a better campaign so that we could win. I did not think we were on a path to victory. So that was really more the thing. He made his decision that would be accomplished by him stepping aside.
Do you honestly think that these people love and revere one another? Do you think they have a good relationship? Do you think she actually prays about Joe Biden?
Or cries about him?
There is no flipping way. There's no way. She doesn't give two craps about this man. If she did, she would have made sure that he didn't run the first time, just like her. I mean, she loves him as much as his wife loves him, which is to say that neither one of those women love him at all.
They needed him at a certain point, and he fulfilled his obligations. And when he couldn't do that anymore, they both discarded him.
Yeah, like a piece of trash.
I mean,
These people
Jill's
are-
now just like, I guess I'll just go to the beach with you.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's so gross. You're just old, and I can't.
I just wonder what the deal was that they took. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because you know that there was a deal.
And Hunter got something too. They all did. It's gross.
This is just a funny little clip. I don't even know the name of the show that this is pulled from, but it's perfect when it comes to how our country gives money to everyone but the actual citizens in it.
You are making $500,000 and you were only going to pay me 30?
You're getting 30 grand? I'm getting 1,000.
You guys are getting paid?
So true.
Right?
So true.
So perfect. Oh my gosh. All right. We're going to do our Mean Message Monday schlong because we do have quite a number of messages to share. Some of them are from last week when you were tangling with some folks about birth control. Do you want to set that up in any way?
We had it was a short. I think we did a short that Valen put out there on our Instagram. It was forever ago now, I feel like. And it was just a comment that we made about birth control because apparently now it's birth control is evil. According to 20 and 30-year-olds, they don't like it. And so they don't want anybody to take it and they want it to be banned.
Oh my God.
I don't know why that's the case, but they think it's toxic and evil. And I'm like, and our stance on that is if you want to take it, take it. If you don't, don't. But a lot of these 20-somethings that are saying it's toxic, they're the same ones who put like botulism in their faces. So I said that in the short, and then people get all butthurt. And the Instagram girls, man, they came at me. They just are like, this is a boomer take.
Yeah. So that's what Mrs. B says.
Yeah.
It's poison.
It's a
boomer take.
Okay. All right.
And then Baby Rain. Normally, I love all your videos. This was a fail. Might as well encourage us to take another COVID booster while you're at it. Do some research, chicks. We're
feel like-
experiencing horrifying results.
I feel like COVID, like vaccines and birth control, are two very different things, just based on the research and development life cycle. Maybe you should do some research on that. I don't know.
And
Yeah.
considering the fact that we were both on birth control for many, 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 many years,
Right. Yeah.
and we're okay.
I'm fine.
It should be a personal decision.
Yeah,
These
and-
hags need to calm down.
And another thing that I said is that I feel like, I'd like to know what some of these 20 and 30 something girls are going to do when menopause happens to them and they decide, oh, I want to take HRT, because it's literally the same thing as birth control.
Same exact thing.
Same
Yep.
exact thing. So if they they're going to have to opt out because they've said this is toxic, because it's hopefully they're going to just go natural and they're going to be sweating their asses off like old women from the old country. Yeah.
So you started replying to some of them.
I did. Yeah. Well, this guy writes us all the time.
Save the Delaware GOP.
Yeah. This guy's obsessed with us. We have a couple stalkers on Instagram and he's one of them. And there's a couple of them that will stalk us and I'll delete them. But this guy, I just let him hang on because I feel kind of sorry for him, because I think he's in a basement somewhere just obsessing over us. So yeah, he probably needs to go away. But
White girls trying to talk shade. So funny, but you don't stop, please. Very entertaining, mindless entertainment for your leaders base. Thank you for your idiocy of being supremacists.
Who's our leader?
I don't know.
Who's our leader?
I mean, maybe she's referring to Trump. I don't know.
He's not I don't really think of him as my leader. You know what I mean? He's not even leading anything right now. He's just running for president. So I find that really interesting, but okay. Yeah. But they always call us white supremacists or racist.
Oh my God. And despicable and deplorable,
And
according
deplorable.
to Pauline. She's
Thanks,
mad.
Pauline. Thanks, Pauline.
Let's see. Cult 45 members are so simple-minded. Yeah, we're the ones that don't give a shit that there's no policy platform of our candidate.
Right.
Okay, we're
And
the
there's-
simple-minded ones. Got
And
it.
they always have a profile picture of something like that.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. C on the R are the absolute worst.
Thanks, M. Thanks.
She's not too much of a moron. She's got more accomplishments, money, and talent that you'll ever effing have, you ignorant, stupid cult following mother effers.
Oh.
I'm not even sure who Elle was talking about.
I think that Elle is talking about Kamala.
Probably
About Kamala.
Or
But
actually, it could be. This might have been a comment on the Bill Maher clip with the Hawk Tua girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because she's got a lot of money and talent. Really?
Super talented.
Because she can spit on a dude's penis. Is that? And that makes her talented? That's talent
incredibly
these days,
talented.
you guys. Well, congratulations, Hawk Tua.
Yeah, this was on that video, and this guy. Bye, ladies. She's doing better than yous.
I bet David went to Harvard and took that same spelling class that David Hogg did. Yeah.
Deborah Murphy says, sad that you do not have investigative reporters who could have answered your questions. I would have liked to know the whole story when I watched the news. First of all, we are not news.
No, we're not journalists. We're
We're not
claimed to be-
journalists, and we don't have a team of reporters. So-
We are the team.
Yeah, you're looking
this
at
is
it.
You're looking at the team right here.
Phil Wright says, you ladies are clueless.
Oh, it's always great when they misspell shit. It's my favorite. When they try to insult you and then there's a misspelling. It's always my favorite, you guys. You have no idea.
John Becker says, why don't these two do something useful, rather sit in front of a camera and tell lies?
Okay, John.
We're not lying.
We're not. There's no lies here. We keep it real.
Jerry says, these chicks on the right are always wrong. Do they want 2025 in USA?
What's he talking? Is he talking about Project 2025?
We can only assume.
Yeah. I'm so sick of them using that Project 2025 stuff. Seriously. Again, with the research.
Chicks in the dump.
That was really clever, Phil. Good job, you. Good job.
I mean, these are so
Do
sad.
better. Do better, Phil. Come on.
this is just sad that they're so
that's
bad
not
at it.
good. Wish these two would go get a real job and do something worthwhile instead of running off their big mouths. Well, you're here, John. It's the same. Is that the same John? That's
Yeah, I
the
think
same
so.
John. He's obsessed
tuning
with
in.
us.
My favorite
What?
new thing that people are doing on YouTube a lot is I see some comments where they'll be like, because at the end of some of our shorts, there's like a little call out for our sponsors saying support our show by supporting our sponsors.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people will respond to that in the comments by saying, I am not going to support your show or your sponsors. And I'm having the best time responding to them saying, you just did.
You are
by
here.
engaging with our content.
Right. Exactly.
you.
It's so funny. It's like they are forced to watch. It's like
Right.
you willingly went to YouTube or whatever platform, and then your eyeballs are watching us. We didn't force you to do that.
And then
No
you're
one-
engaging, you're listening and commenting. You're helping us.
Yeah.
So thank you, trolls.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, one more thing before we get to your DD, and that
Yes.
is, in case someone out there didn't know this already, I think everybody should, but in case you did not, LeBron James is a total a-hole, and he proved that by completely just casting aside some sweet boy who's like who adores LeBron James and wanted a photo or an autograph or whatever. And this was just look at the way that he treats a young kid who obviously looks up to him. Maybe he's mad.
Oh my
Make space, guys, for King. Make space.
What a jerk.
Congratulations.
Make space. God, what a complete. Oh my God, this guy is such a jerk.
Right? I mean, that poor kid,
Yeah, total jerk. Yeah. You know who's not a jerk? Opie. Opie's not a jerk. It's my
This
cow,
is
you guys.
Opie.
This is Opie. You want to see Opie?
Oh shoot,
That's
I didn't
Opie,
realize
you
there's
guys.
music and muting.
I mean, are we going to get copyright struck for
Yeah.
that? Really? That's
Yeah.
Opie, you guys. That's my cow.
Look at the flippity.
Isn't he
flop
sweet?
ears.
That
Oh
was
my
Opie. He's
So
not a jerk. That was kind of like technically a DD.
That was a
He's
good
Opie.
one.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see the cows.
He's a Brahmin, just so you guys know. He's a steer. Yeah.
We have
He's not-
3 very quick My Pillow Talks to share today. But before I do, let me just make sure I thank Eugene Heiger, who says, we've been going out working our asses off, handing out information for our local primary election. Get out, people. It is so important. And he's absolutely right. And by the way, if you're in Ilhan Omar's district, the primary is tomorrow. You can vote as Republican, Independent, whatever you are. Go vote for
Go.
Challenger.
Go, go, go. Yes.
For real. And Jose Rodriguez says, COTR, obviously all the birth control pills you took over the years have turned you into weirdos. Take my money and buy more. Morning
true.
from Texas.
True.
All right. So this first one, guys and pranks. Guys doing pranks to each other can be some of the meanest things you'll ever see. So these two are having a spoon contest where the rule is you have a spoon in your mouth and you use it to hit the other person on the head as hard as you can. But because you don't have a lot of leverage with a spoon, doing this motion, it's impossible to hit really hard, right? And so this guy decides to play a little trick.
Oh my God.
It's like, how are you doing that so hard?
He's like, ouch. Guys.
Guys, man, so mean. Okay.
Chickens.
This is you guys remember my chicken joke, right?
Mhm.
Everybody kind of knows my chicken joke.
Because?
This is because so this reminded me of it, only it's kind of a song.
Now we let the chicken talk. Didn't know exactly what he said, but
Chickens.
And then this kitten, you guys, look at how precious.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Isn't it the sweetest little thing?
Need him.
I know, so cute.
That is so
cute.
So
okay,
good.
for sure. This has been the longest show, for sure.
Yeah. You do your present first. You want to do your
bring it in first in case
okay.
you want to go.
And then I got a present.
Yeah. You want me to do my first?
You do yours first.
Okay, just two. So the first one comes from Alma Shireman, who sent the cutest little card. And then look at how cute this shirt is. Love this.
Oh my
Love it.
God, I love that.
I know, and V-necks are I just love the V-necks, man. Love that. And then from John Stevenson, he wrote this letter about why he sent us both. Well, he had to send yours to me because your post office box does not accept alcohol. And he sent 2 bottles of wine. And I guess one of them is like a joke. I don't get the joke, but like I've tried multiple times to read the letter and understand the joke. I don't really get it, but one of these is a joke, and then one of them is for real. And so we got wine from John Stevenson.
Okay. We love wine.
Thank
we
you.
Totally love wine. Okay. I got stuff from Cammie Sweeten for my birthday.
Okay, perfect.
My birthday is not until August 27th, so she's early. I think in the note, she's like, I hope you had a good day. So I feel like you may have thought my birthday was earlier, but it's not. I am, in fact, a Virgo, and it is on August 27th. So I got a shirt. I got a couple shirts. Always bring your own sunshine, which I love. I got another shirt. Flawed, but still worthy. Love it. I got just all sorts of stuff. I got little earrings. Look at these little earrings. I got little boots on them and hats, which are super cute. I got balls, you guys. These are there's D's nuts. They're D's nuts. Are they cute? I got these nuts. I got these. This is freeze dried candy, which is a big hit in our house. We love freeze dried candy. Love it. So thank you. Super sweet. I got this.
They look like balls, by the way.
They do.
Candy.
Yeah, they do. I got this really sweet cross, which I love.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Love it. Love a really cool bracelet, and it's stretchy. I love stretchy bracelets. You guys see the bracelet? And it's like ceramic. It's really pretty. And it has like little daisies on it. I don't know if you can see the daisies. It's so pretty. And then I got this. It's a pocket hug. I'm not really sure. Like, hold on. Let me see if I can open it up. I don't know if I can open it. Hold on. Okay. It's a pocket hug. And it says, my jam. You are totally my jam.
So cute.
So many cute little things. Thank you, Cammie. It was so sweet. It's my first birthday present. So you were the first one.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you for that, you guys. Everybody have a wonderful,
wait. One more, just really quick reminder that there will be no show Thursday and Friday of this week. We just want to make sure we're saying that as many times as possible because last time, even though we said it every single day, people were like, how come you didn't have shows Thursday, Friday?
Where are they? Yes.
So no show Thursday, Friday.
Mock is taking her son to college this week. I'm only going to say that because I want everybody to say like prayers for her because she's having a really hard time with it. She's not going to say it, but she's having a really, really hard time with it. And everybody needs to send all the prayers like start now because it's going to be a tough week for her. Okay.
I've already been crying like all weekend long.
I know it's really, really bad. So you guys just start praying now and we will talk to you tomorrow morning. Okay. Bye. All right. Bye everybody.